The Galactic Navigation Council had marked it in blood red across every star chart. THADEEA, a DZONE, NOE, YB, YORDERA, AROF, AILEZ, DSPI, ECIC. A spherical region of space 30 light-years in diameter, where ships went in and never came out. Where entire fleets vanished without so much as a distress signal. Commander Zilla of the Arcturus Defense Force watched the human vessel Persistence drift steadily toward the zone's boundary on her tactical display. Her crystalline features flickered with disbelief. "Signal them again," she ordered her communications officer. "Tell them they're heading directly into the dead zone." The reply came back immediately, transmitted in that peculiar human accent that somehow managed to sound both casual and determined. "Roger that, Arcturus Defense. We're aware of our destination. Thanks for the heads up, though." Zilla's second-in-command, a hulking Corvan named Thex, growled low in his throat. "Humans always think they're special. Remember the Nexarian Armada? 300 ships, gone in seconds. The Velta Expeditionary Force, 1,000 vessels. Nothing left but empty space." "I remember," Zilla whispered. She also remembered the recordings from the edge of the zone ships simply winking out of existence as they crossed the boundary, as if reality itself rejected their presence. The Persistence was not an impressive vessel by galactic standards. A mid-sized exploration craft with a crew of maybe 50 humans. Against whatever lurked in the dead zone, it would last microseconds. "Human vessel," Zilla transmitted personally. "I am Commander Zilla of the Galactic Defense Force. That region has consumed every fleet that's entered it for the past 2 centuries. Please reconsider." The response surprised her. Instead of bravado or dismissal, the human captain's voice carried genuine warmth. "Commander Zilla, this is Captain Sarah Chen. We appreciate your concern truly. But there are people in there." "People?" Zilla's translator struggled with the concept. "Impossible. Nothing survives the dead zone. 3 days ago, we received a distress beacon. Long-range sensors picked up survivors on a planet in the zone's center. A colony ship that went missing 40 years ago, the New Horizon. They're alive, Commander. And they're dying." Thex leaned over the console. "Even if that's true, sending one ship is suicide. The zone will destroy you, just like all the others." "Maybe," Captain Chen acknowledged. "But here's the thing about humans, we don't leave our people behind. Ever. No matter the odds." Zilla watched helplessly as the human ship approached the shimmering distortion that marked the dead zone's edge. "Captain Chen, at least tell us what you're facing. Our long-range sensors go dark the moment they try to penetrate that barrier." "We'll try to transmit data as we go in," Chen replied. "Maybe what we learn will help the next attempt." "Next attempt." The humans said it with such certainty, as if failure was just a step toward eventual success, rather than an ending. The Persistence crossed the boundary. For a moment, Zilla expected the ship to simply vanish like all the others. Instead, Chen's voice crackled through the subspace static. "Interesting. The zone isn't destroying ships, it's shifting them. Reality here works differently. Space is folded, time flows in loops. Ships get trapped in recursive probability cascades." "What does that mean?" Thex demanded. "It means," Chen's voice grew fainter as the Persistence went deeper, "the zone is a maze, not a weapon. All those fleets, they're probably still here somewhere, caught in temporal eddies. We just need to navigate the currents, instead of fighting them." The signal cut to static. For 6 hours, there was nothing. Then, impossibly, ships began emerging from the dead zone. First came vessels Zilla recognized from the history books, the lead ships of the Nexarian Armada, their crews in perfect health, but claiming only minutes had passed since they'd entered the zone decades ago. Then came older ships, stranger designs, vessels from species that had been extinct for centuries. Finally, the Persistence emerged, escorting a massive colony ship, the New Horizon, its hull scarred but intact. Chen's voice came through crystal clear, Arcturus defense. "This is Captain Chen. We've got approximately 50,000 people here who would very much like to go home. Oh, and we've mapped the navigation routes through the zone." Turns out the dead zone isn't dead at all. It's been preserving every ship that ever entered, waiting for someone to figure out how to guide them out. Zilla stared at her displays in shock. Thousands of ships were streaming out of the zone, a parade of the lost and presumed dead, stretching back centuries. "How?" she whispered. "Humans don't think like other species," Chen explained as the Persistence docked with Zilla's command ship. "When everyone else saw an impenetrable barrier, we saw a puzzle. When others saw certain death, we saw people who needed help. Sometimes, the most important discoveries happen not because we're brave, but because we're too stubborn to accept that something is impossible." Hours later, as Zilla reviewed the navigation data the humans had compiled, Thex approached her. "The dead zone will need to be renamed," he rumbled. "What do we call it now?" Zilla looked out at the stream of rescued ships, still emerging from what had once been the galaxy's greatest mystery. "The humans have a suggestion," she said. "They want to call it the Second Chance Zone." She watched the Persistence disappear into hyperspace, already heading toward their next impossible mission. Humans, she realized, didn't just survive the galaxy's dangers, they transformed them into opportunities to save others. That, perhaps, was the most terrifying and wonderful thing about them.